We're going to do a practice. So I'm going to give you a graph, and I want you to tell me whether the limit exists or not. So this is going to be our practice. And I do apologize, my lights went out, so I have to stand up and turn them back on. So let's do a practice. So after I set the problem up, I want you to sketch this, and I want you to tell me if the limit exists. So this one, again, is going to be a piecewise function, because you are going to need lots of practice graphing piecewise functions. So f of x equals 5 minus 2x for anything where x is greater than 0, and then also x minus 3 for anything, oops, I think I wrote them in the wrong direction. This should be less than or equal to 0. This should be other way around. Let me rewrite those, okay? So this is for x greater than 0, and this one is for x less than or equal to 0, okay? So here's what I would like you to do. I would like you to sketch this and find the limit as x approaches 0, okay? So pause the video, make your sketch of the graph, and then tell me if or what the value of the limit is as you approach 0. So, welcome back. Now that you have tried sketching this yourself, I would like you to, or I'd like to go through the sketch with you. Okay? So, first of all, let's draw our graph. And we know 0 is our x value where something's going to happen. So I'm going to, because I'm right on the line, I'm just going to highlight this x equals 0 in pink. Okay, so you can see the x equals 0. Now, remember, we have to kind of make some table of values just to try to figure out what's going on when x is greater than 0. So when x is greater than 0, if you remember, I am using this equation, 5 minus 2x. So I'm going to use 0, then I'm just going to use 1, and I'm going to use 2. I also know, because it's 5 minus 2x, that's the equation of a line. Okay, so I know it's just going to be linear, so I'm just going to get a couple of points to figure out. So I plug 0 in there. 5 minus 0 is 5. And then I have to plug in 1. 5 minus 2 is 3. And then plug 2 in for x, and 5 minus 4 is 1. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and plug these things in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know at 0 it's 5, I know at 1 it's up 3, and I know at 2 it's at 1. So this is the sketch of my graph on that side of the graph. It's anything greater than 0. Now, what about the other side? Well, the other side has a different equation. The different equation is x minus 3. So I know I'm going to pick 0. But then I also have to pick numbers less than 0. So I'm going to do -1 and -2. Now, I'm only doing 3 points because I know this is also a line. It's x minus 3. So when I plug this in, at 0, it's -3. When I plug -1 there, it makes it positive. So we have x minus 3. Oh, so it's -1 minus 3. So that's going to be -4. And then I also have -2 minus 3, so it's -5. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and I'm going to plot in these values. So I'm going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I know at 0, I'm at -3. I know at -1, I'm at -4. And I know at -2, I'm at -5. So this is my line that goes on this side. Now remember, you do need to figure out what sort of open or closed dots they're going to be. So notice this first line that's on the right, it's x is greater than 0. That means there's no equal sign, so that means this has to be an open dot on this line because it's not greater than or equal to 0. And that means on this one here, notice that it's x is less than or equal to 0. That means this has to be a closed dot. Now, let's figure out whether the limit exists, okay? So the first thing you have to do if you're going to figure out if a limit exists is you have to find the limit as x approaches the x value we're looking at. So it's x approaches 0 from the left. And as x approaches 0 from the left, I'm using this side right here. So I'm using this graph, and notice that the value is -3. Now, you also need to take the limit as x approaches 0 from the positive side. Because it's the positive side, I'm approaching it from here. So I have to follow the line up, and I have to see what y value it's heading towards. This one is heading towards a value of 5. So you need to understand if you approach it from the left and you approach it from the right, and they're different numbers, you now have to say the limit as x approaches 0 does not exist, okay? Because they are two different values. It is so important that you understand this concept. From the left and from the right, they have to be heading towards the same value, okay? So this is the basic idea of a limit. I hope that you understand this concept. I also hope that you understand the notation and the ways that we write things. In our next video, after this one, I'm going to talk about situations where limits don't exist, and we're going to do a short little practice of some limit stuff. So I hope this helps. These are your notes. Go through, put your notebook together, and copy these things down. This is what your homework is going to be for most of the year. Thank you for listening, and I will see you guys later.